All right, everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dan Scavone. I'm part of the executive staff at CIAC, and one of my roles is the liaison to the officials as well as handling some sports. And tonight we have our rules clinic for football coaches statewide. I know some of you have participated in some of your league meetings already and maybe gotten a rules clinic, but this rules clinic is given by our state interpreter, Bill Riccio. And the message here is that we want one clear interpretation around the state. Each of your boards has a rule interpreter. We'll talk a little bit about that later in terms of who you should contact during the year. But Bill Riccio is our state interpreter. He also served on the National Federation of High Schools Rules Committee for a number of years. And last year was actually nominated and received an award as the active official of the year nationwide. So Bill comes with a high acclaim. What I'd like to do before we bring Bill on is introduce our Associate Executive Director, Mr. Greg Simon, who is our sport liaison for football, and Greg will welcome you. Go ahead, Greg.
Good evening, everyone. So glad to see a lot of familiar faces on my screen. It's hard to believe we're ready to begin fall sports and get going again, but I hope you all had a good summer. You spent a lot of time with your families and enjoyed yourselves because you know what it's like during football season. You tend to be a ghost around the house. So hopefully you had a great summer. I hope this summer went well for you with your teams as well, enjoying the new out-of-season coaching rules that are in their second year now for our coaches to work 2 days a week with their student athletes during the summer. I've gotten a lot of good feedback from coaches and schools about some of the things that are going on. Just from a CIAC viewpoint, we are going to collect some data with some surveys from our member schools to find out what worked, what didn't work, and how we can improve it and continue to make it better so that we have as much of an impact on our student athletes during the summer as possible. So that's good to hear. So one thing I'd like to make you aware of is the CIAC football committee this year will be looking at instant replay in our championship games. The NFHS gave permission for states to begin to look at instant replay. We're going to put together a subcommittee to discuss it and make some recommendations to the full committee. So stay tuned. We'll be giving you updates on that during the year. And lastly, just always my message to you on this date, again, in education-based athletics, sportsmanship has to be your highest priority. And much of that sportsmanship begins and ends with the coach. When the coach acts in a manner in which they're respectful to officials and respectful to their opponents, it often trickles down to their team, and teams act in a very sportsmanship manner. But again, it's critical to us. We are taking some pretty strong actions in other sports where we can't seem to get sportsmanship under control with our coaches and our student athletes. We haven't had to do anything in football. You guys have been great. Just continue to do what you're doing. Stress sportsmanship. And again, with education-based athletics, that's really at the center of it. So thank you all. Enjoy your evening. You are in good hands with Bill. And thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it. Bill Riccio, again, is our state rules interpreter, and Bill has a PowerPoint slide from the Federation. He also viewed the NFHS national rules interpretation meetings. He has a good handle on what's coming this year. So I'll turn it over to you, Bill. Thank you.
Just want to make sure everybody could hear me all right.
Yep.
Okay, very good. All right, I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible, ladies and gentlemen, and give you what we talked about. We had a state officials clinic on Saturday, and we covered a lot of situations, some of which I'll bring up as we go along. Just a couple of things. This year, the Federation is once again reiterating the rule that visors have to be clear, completely clear, no tinting of any kind, no smoky color of any kind, completely clear. Even though you can see through the tinting, it's not what they want on the visors. Players who are having eye problems can wear sunglasses or sun goggles underneath, but the visors themselves have to be clear. The other thing they came to tell us this year was and this came up last year as a question. Guardian caps are legal. The Federation does not have a position on it. The manufacturers do, but the Federation doesn't. And in Connecticut, we've been allowing Guardian caps for about 10 years. So that if there's a problem, or if a kid wants to wear a Guardian cap, or if you want your team to wear a Guardian cap, there should be no problem there. So I'm going to start with the PowerPoint. We're just going to go through a few things. There's one big rule change this year that we'll cover. But the first things I'm going to talk about are some things that are coming up, and then some things we have to discuss otherwise. Let's talk about mouth guards. Starting 2026, mouth guard protectors are going to have no attachments that don't serve a purpose. So evidently there are some products that are coming out with a little bling on them, and that's going to be out of the question next year. That should be out of the question this year. Anything that has no value is going to be disallowed next year. So these are the legal things: the mouth inserts, the traditional tooth guard, all right, that's attached to the face mask. That's all going to be allowable, always has been, and those are what you should be purchasing next year. As far as arm sleeves go, we know that kids are wearing sleeves now as burn protectors for the artificial turf. Beginning 2 years from now, 2027, they're going to have a certification on them from the CAS-CIAC, which is similar to something that they do with the gloves and other things that linemen and players wear. So next year, the arm sleeves are going to have an exterior label that will have the CAS-CIAC logo on it. This year, the first rule change has to do with electronic signs. In the past, these were disallowed. This year, they're allowed. So if you have this kind of system where you can relay play signals with these types of signs, that's okay. There can't be any audio attached to them. The only thing that could happen is they can be held, or they can be put on a pole. But there can't be anything other than that. The rule change is the same as far as it's always been. Coaches are allowed to have certain tablets and things like that, but those could only be used between the 9-yard marks and the sideline. So from the top of the numbers to the sideline, if your team comes over to talk to you, you can use your electronic device. However, if you go out to talk to the team, they're not allowable. Okay. Unlike baseball, we still do not have any kind of electronic communication between the quarterback or a player and the coaching staff. It probably is going to come down the pike somewhere along the line, but for the time being, that's not going to be allowed. So what we're going to go now into is the new forward fumble rule. After a few years, the Federation has come up with a forward fumble out of bounds rule, similar to that which is in the NCAA and the NFL. So we're going to go through those situations. The thing to remember about this is that the fumble has to go out of bounds forward from the fumble between the goal lines. So from the front edge of the goal line to the front edge of the goal line, it has to be what we call a field of play. If it goes into the end zone, then we have a different situation altogether. So let's take the first one. A1 has the ball, he fumbles, it goes out of bounds at the 5. Okay, we're going to bring the ball back to the spot of the fumble. And then we are going to start the clock. We're going to stop the clock when it goes out of bounds. We're going to start the clock on the ready for play. And the ready for play now is not only when the referee blows his whistle and drops his hand, but if the last play was in bounds, not like this, but just a regular play, the ready for play is actually when the when the umpire places the ball down and the officials are ready to officiate. So that's the first one. It's a pretty easy rule. It's not that difficult, except when the goal line is involved. As far as the ball going out of bounds behind the spot of the fumble, that's you're going to lose that yardage. It's going to go out of bounds, and we're going to go to that spot, and it's going to stop the clock, and the clock is going to remain stopped until the snap. Third one, the pitch out is not a fumble. The pitch out is a backward pass. So if the pitch out is muffed by a player, all right, then if it goes out of bounds anywhere between the goal lines, that's the out of bounds spot. That's where we're gonna go with the next play. So the big thing is a pitch out is what we call a backward pass, what you guys might call a lateral. And until the ball is actually possessed by the receiver, it still remains a pass that goes out of bounds in the field of play that we're going to officiate accordingly. Next one. When a backward fumble in the field of play goes out of bounds between the goal lines, the ball is spotted where it is ruled out of bounds. Oh, that's the backward pass. All right, I went one back. Okay. Well, from the end zone, A has the ball. They're going out, which means they're on their side. They're on the negative side of the 50. Let's say they snap from the 3 or 4 yard line. Now we have a fumble. A1 gets the ball. He's trying to get out of the end zone. He gets hit. Ball goes out of bounds in the field of play between the goal lines. We're going to put the ball back at the spot. That's a safety because that's going to be your dead ball spot. That's going to be a safety. Last year, it would not have been a safety. We did that. Okay, next one. I just have to move my cursor here. If B gets the ball, okay, in the end zone, and the ball goes out of bounds in the field of play, we're going back to the spot where he fumbled the ball. Now this is where it gets a little touchy because let's say it's an interception in the end zone. B has the ball in A's end zone. They intercepted. Kid's trying to run out, make a return. He gets hit and fumbles, and the ball goes out at the 3 yard line. We're going back to the spot of the fumble, which is the end zone. That makes it a touchback by rule. If there's a foul in the field of play by B during that run, the 20 yard line becomes the basic spot. If it's behind the 20 yard line, it's a spot foul. If it's ahead of the 20 yard line, we go from the 20. It's not that hard, but it could get a little dicey because we're not used to it. Okay. Same thing for the when an interception is made in the field of play between the 5 yard line and the goal line. There's a rule that tries to prevent a safety from happening in this situation. So if there's an interception or a fumble recovery by team B, we'll just stick with that for now. And the momentum of his interception, which is what we call a fumble that hasn't hit the ground, or a recovery, a fumble that has hit the ground, and the momentum carries him into the end zone, we're going back to the spot where he originally possessed the ball. That's why officials throw bean bags at the lateral spot of where the fumble occurred. That way we can go back to that spot. So what are we going to do there? Like the touchback situation, we're just going to go back to that spot. If we have a foul, that's going to become our basic spot. If you have any questions on this, please don't hesitate to ask. It's not that hard a rule. It's actually a good rule when it comes to our enforcing it. So we'll see what happens as far as this rule is concerned, and everybody will get used to it. The other rule is that for illegal participation penalties, the penalty enforcement has been revised to the basic spot. There are no more special spot enforcements on illegal participation because in certain situations, the offending team might have had a situation where they were actually benefiting. So now everything is the basic spot. That doesn't mean a lot to you. It means a lot to our officials. And it's going to make the enforcement of the penalty a lot easier because there are fewer exceptions, and we always like when there are fewer exceptions. Just a couple of things for the editorial section that I want you to know about. This one here. The defenseless receiver, hitting a defenseless receiver came into the rule book last year as an editorial change or as a list change. Now it's got its own rule coverage. So Article 3 became added to that 9.4 section. And what the rule didn't change. What it did was just point out what has to happen when we have a defenseless player. The contact has to be the result of making a play on the ball. It has to be initiated like we say, hands out, head up, and we hope that there's a wrap. Any other kind of tackle while that defenseless player is there, either with the head or with the shoulder or with the body, it makes that defender liable for a 15-yard penalty for in a sense unnecessary roughness. As far as anything else, there are two things that I want to talk about that the officials brought up, and one thing that I want to bring up that the officials brought up, and one thing that came up as far as a procedure for equipment violations. It was asked by the officials that schools take a better role in policing who they allow on their sideline. I guess we had a situation last year in a game where people were within the 25-yard lines that maybe oughtn't have been there, and they came onto the field from the 25, and the officials penalized the team, and there was a discussion because those people weren't supposed to be there. So what we are asking is that schools make a better effort to police who they allow on the sideline, and especially who they allow in the team areas. Finally, and this is the only other thing that we really want to go through. You're sick and tired of it. We're sick and tired of it. But the knee pad situation, the covering of the knees, is becoming a more and more of a problem. And I know as soon as there's an ESPN game on TV this week from Georgia or from Alabama or wherever, Iowa, you're going to see teams that are going to have their knee pads rolled up inside their pants, and the knees are going to be uncovered. As I said, we're tired of it. You guys are tired of us talking about it, but it's a safety rule, and now the Federation has given us some rules backing to take care of it. So we've come up with a procedure. We're only talking now about those knee pads that are rolled up to look like bicycle shorts or pedal pushers or whatever you want to call them. Players have to have their knees covered with the knee pads. It's that simple. If they don't, they're to be sent off the field. But now there's something more. We've decided in Connecticut, and this is going out in a bulletin this week, to go to a 3-step process similar to the sideline warning. So if we see a player on a team that has an uncovered knee, we're going to send that player off. We're going to stop the game, send the player off, throw a flag. We're going to throw a flag when we see the player. That's going to get everybody's attention. Flags get attention. And there's no penalty involved in the first warning. Okay? What we're going to do is the referee will point to the offending team's sideline and then point 1. It's the first step of the process. If it happens again and we have a team player from that same team come out, we're going to stop the game, throw a flag, send the player off, and it's going to cost 5 yards for delay of game. If it happens a third time, same procedure, 15-yard penalty, team 15-yard penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. It's not on a player. It's not on the coach. We don't think we'll have to go that far. We don't think we'll have to go past number 1. So we're hoping that this procedure will help with the problem with knee pads and or other proper equipment that's worn improperly. We've told the referees in the clinic on Saturday that they're to discuss it with the coaches prior to the game, both teams, and then we're going to act accordingly. And I understand, gentlemen, that part of the problem is our officials. We have some guys who will not look at it and do not want to get involved in it. And it's making it difficult for those people who are trying to do their job. We understand this. It's happened all over the state. But we need your cooperation as far as it goes. And we will try to enforce this to the best, and we'll see how it works. I'd like feedback on it. If you guys want to give me feedback, I at the end of this presentation, I'll give you my phone number and I'll give you my email, and you can send whatever information you want me to know, or any plays you want me to talk about. That's what I'm here for. Go to your local interpreter first on rules interpretations. But generally, if you need something, coaches have called me. They've called me during the off season. They've called me in the preseason. I'm more than happy to talk to you. Are there any questions? I see Eric Becker. If he has any, he'll probably text me. Okay. Then I'm just going to give you my phone number and my email address. And it's, as far as I'm concerned, from this time onward till Thanksgiving or beyond, I'm at your disposal. So my phone number is 475-988-7593. And my email address is M as in Mary, V as in Victor, R as in Richard, J as in Junior, R as in Richard, @yahoo.com. Dan, I think I'm done as far as things we have to talk about tonight, unless there are questions coming through.
No, thanks, Bill. And there's nothing really in the chat. And if you don't have Billy's contact information, all the state interpreters are listed in our handbook online as well. So this meeting has been recorded, so it'll be posted on the football main page of our website in the next few days, and it's something you can go back to refer to as you need, or direct some of your assistants who can't be on the call to take a look at it as well. Eric Becker did have a question for you, Bill, before we sign off. He
Okay,
wanted to see the mouth guard slide again.
wants to see the mouth guard slide again? Okay,
Yeah, right at the top.
okay. Those are the legal ones. What's going to be illegal are any attachments that have nothing to do with the mouth guard itself. Why anybody would have a chain on the end of a mouth guard, I'm not sure, but okay, same thing. These are illegal. These are going to be the legal ones. All right, Eric?
All right. Yep. Thanks,
Okay.
Bill. All right. I hope everyone has a great season. It all starts this week. So good luck with your OTAs and conditioning week next week. And let's hope for some good weather this fall. Take care, everybody.